What do you think, Finn? Can we pull back the veil of static and reach into the source of all being behind this curtain of patterns, this random pattern generator? So clever, right here in every home, watching us from a one-sided mirror.
Whoops, just wizard talking to myself.
On November 3rd, 2016, I uploaded a video called What's Ruining Cartoon Network. In it, I shared my opinions on the state of the channel, where it came from, how it became successful, and the direction it was going. It became my most successful video, and it was clear to me that people felt passionate about Cartoon Network and the shows they air. At the end of my video, I voiced some criticism and how Cartoon Network could improve. How they shouldn't conform their shows to the exact same format as Teen Titans Go. How they should take more risk and create cartoons with new ideas and variety. But it's been over a year now, and the current state of the channel is interesting.
Kisses for the gun show.
Needless to say, the results were not what I expected. In my video, I expressed my concerns about potential shows copying Teen Titans Go, but that never really happened. Instead, Teen Titans Go began to dominate the schedule and has been the primary show of 2017. And it goes without saying that many people are sick of it.
Well, I don't care as long as you don't consider us garbage. You don't consider us garbage, right?
Now, that's not to say that Cartoon Network hasn't been willing to take a chance on something new. OKKO came out in August of 2017 and has been a breath of fresh air. It feels similar to the programs of old and would be a show you would catch on Cartoon Friday. Cartoon Network is in an interesting spot. They have the potential to create amazing stuff, but something is holding them back. And I might have an idea of what it is. No, it's not Teen Titans Go. That's just a symptom of a larger problem. So we are going to go back and see how Cartoon Network has changed over the year, to find out what parts of my video were true and what parts were false. And lastly, I will share my thoughts on the current state of the channel and what might happen to it in the future. Before I get to the main points of the video, I want to do a quick rundown of Cartoon Network's history. That way people can know how much Cartoon Network has changed over the years and have context for the rest of the video. If you want a more detailed description of the channel's history, then go check out this video of mine. Okay, so when it comes to Cartoon Network, we can thank Ted Turner for its creation. The guy began to purchase and collect a bunch of cartoons back in the 1980s, from Looney Tunes to Hanna-Barbera. It was said that he owned the majority of animated characters at that time. So it was a foregone conclusion to put these shows to work on television.
So I had 1,000 theatrical cartoons, which was about 60% or 65% of all the theatrical cartoons that had been made up to that time. And that was good because they're timeless, you know. Bugs Bunny's still good even without a cell phone.
On October 1st, 1992, Cartoon Network was officially launched as a TV channel.
All your old friends on a brand new network. Coming to cable, October 1st.
At first, it relied on its massive library of older cartoons, Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, and the hundreds of characters from Hanna-Barbera.
Hey fellas, looking for a parking space? You can take mine.
Now this guy's a true hero.
Could have sworn I parked in the Wally Gator F lot. Or was it in... Oh boy. Now I remember. I flew into work today. Silly me.
Oh, brother.
After a while, Cartoon Network began to try out their own original programs. They were quite experimental and were not like the traditional cartoons from their library. But after a few years, it finally clicked, and the network began to produce a line of successful original programming. The person in charge of the channel during this time was Betty Cohen. She was a firm believer in quality content and pushed for that on the network. Because of that, shows such as Dexter's Lab and the Powerpuff Girls arrived and became headliners for the network.
Little girls that can fly and zip through the air? Why, that's crazy talk. Or is it? The Powerpuff Girls will return.
Things continued to grow over the years. More cartoons were developed. Toonami arrived, and Adult Swim stepped onto the scene. It was great, but the momentum began to slow down in the mid-2000s. Old shows began to end, and not as many quality cartoons were taking their spots. Also, Cartoon Network decided to air live-action shows on the channel. It was a strange direction that many viewers did not care for.
That wasn't a camel, that was a transformer.
But around 2010, some new cartoons arrived that would provide a breath of fresh air to the network.
Adventure time! Come on, grab your friends. We'll go to very distant lands. We'll take the dog and then the human. The fun will never end. It's Adventure Time.
Adventure Time and Regular Show were the first of a new wave of cartoons. Gumball and Steven Universe arrived a few years after, but things have begun to go on the decline once more. This is where the mystery begins. Despite having an era of successful shows in the early 2010s, Cartoon Network isn't taking as many risks anymore. If anything, the channel is doubling down on shows that they know are popular and aren't quite certain what to do with their old programs. Adventure Time is still an incomplete series, but we rarely see reruns on the network.
If you can honestly look into your heart and tell me you want me to leave, I'll go.
Okay, leave.
Wow, did you look in your heart? Like all around it?
Yes.
All in all, we find Cartoon Network in a precarious situation, one where many people blame its leadership for its lack of variety. Many people on YouTube have voiced their concerns and opinions about the issues, myself included, and the finger is usually pointed at Christina Miller, the current president of the channel, that she wants to play it safe with Teen Titans Go, which is why it dominates the schedule. But after doing some research, I think I've discovered a larger reason why Cartoon Network is currently in a strained situation, and it really puts into perspective my previous criticism about the network.
Our new fan total is...
The zero?
Now, let's run down the list of my previous predictions and concerns from my last video. Number 1, generational shift. Basically, the old shows are coming to an end, and there aren't as many new shows to take their spots. I feel that this point is still valid and has only gotten worse. Number 2, conformity. I stated that some of the new shows arriving on Cartoon Network were copying the same formula as Teen Titans Go, that the humor was fast-paced, and the production was somewhat cheap.
Check this out. I can get away with whatever I want. Check this out. Check this out.
I feel that this point was true, but it did not go in the direction that I expected. Yes, Mighty Magiswords felt like an Adventure Time version of Teen Titans Go, but it wasn't the monster that I thought it would be. Actually, it doesn't really air on Cartoon Network that often. Same thing for the new Powerpuff Girls. Both of them have been overshadowed by Teen Titans Go. In hindsight, I feel that I was a bit harsh on Mighty Magiswords. I mean, I did not love it, but it wasn't terrible. I can't say the same about the new Powerpuff Girls. That show is still hot garbage.
There's no one I'd rather share the stage with than you, my sweet blossom. You have my heart forever!
Number 3, online integration. Finally, I spoke about how the shows are trying to be hip, how they feature vlogs and attempt to be relevant with their audiences. Again, I feel that this point was valid, but not in the way that I expected. In light of recent research though, it makes a lot of sense of why they are doing this, but I will explain this in greater detail later in the video.
There's only one proven method for getting more fans: focus testing.
All in all though, the points in my last video weren't completely unfounded, but Cartoon Network changed in a way that caught me off guard. Now, let's talk about the current challenges at Cartoon Network. The first and most glaring issue is the schedule and how often they air Teen Titans Go. In late 2016 and throughout 2017, Cartoon Network has been devoting the majority of their schedule to this show. It's super popular and does not cost much to make. At this point, I feel that mentioning this problem at Cartoon Network is repetitive, and everyone and their mother has made a video about it. It's no surprise that Teen Titans Go dominates the schedule. What concerns me the most about this though is how it doesn't provide much airtime for old or new shows. Over the course of 2017, we rarely saw Adventure Time, regular show, or even new content on the network. The last time we saw Mighty Magiswords was in July.
Magisword chicken pies!
The Teen Titans Go problem reached its peak back in August, when it took up over 80% of the schedule. Now, to be fair, it was for a week-long marathon for its new TV movie, but it really solidified how obsessed Cartoon Network has become over this show. But hindsight is 20/20, and I see things from a new perspective. I now understand why Teen Titans Go is the default show on the channel, and it stems from the greatest problem of all at Cartoon Network. Television is dying, and the people who run Cartoon Network aren't as willing to take chances like they have in the past. It shouldn't be too big of a surprise that millennials and the generation that is following it are closely connected to the internet. We communicate on there, we get our entertainment from it, and we basically carry it around in our pockets everywhere we go.
Yo, check it! This is Jake on my camera phone. Whoa!
I asked my followers on Twitter if they still watch television, and most of them said no, or that they rarely do. I also asked if they watch Cartoon Network on TV, and the majority said that they do not, that they prefer to watch it online at their own leisure. This has been a slow process, but the conclusion is quite final. Television is on its way out, and the internet will be what replaces it. That is why Cartoon Network has been pushing its website and phone app so hard. They want to connect with this new audience and continue airing content to them.
Every episode, every single episode on the Cartoon Network app is unlocked all this weekend for realsies. Why? Because Cartoon Network has the greatest fans in the world. Download the Cartoon Network app and watch every episode all this weekend. We're here for you, Mama.
This puts advertisers, the lifeblood of television channels, in a precarious situation. Their TV ads are no longer as effective and aren't reaching as many people. Instead of watching content on television, these new audiences are watching on the internet, and that isn't as easy to monetize at the moment. This ultimately means less money for all parties involved. People are quick to blame Christina Miller, the current president at Cartoon Network, for the oversaturation of Teen Titans Go, but it's very possible that it's her bosses that are making those decisions. That the people in charge at Turner, the company that owns Cartoon Network, are the ones responsible for the Teen Titans Go overkill and the lack of variety in the schedule. I'm looking at you, John Martin. If Christina and her team cannot keep the advertisers around, they will lose their jobs. So this might explain the knee-jerk reaction to airing Teen Titans Go so frequently. They know it's popular, and it might keep its young viewers around.
This is causing the cringes.
That being said, Cartoon Network is pushing their online presence pretty hard. Now is the time to integrate and create a place where newer audiences can watch their content. But is it actually working? Possibly. According to this article, Mighty Magiswords was quite successful when it arrived and had a great impact on mobile devices and phone apps.
You're watching Mighty Magiswords!
Yeah, Magiswords are cool.
But did you know you can collect your own Magiswords while you watch the show?
What? How? Why aren't you already telling me how?
You can collect Magiswords, just like Prohyas and Vamber, by using Magimobile.
But how do I do that?
Download the Magimobile app to your device.
Ready.
Teen Titans has a large presence on the website and phone apps as well, though some of these games are... yeah. But this perspective makes sense though. If you view the current state of Cartoon Network as a channel that's losing its viewership, it explains why they aren't as willing to take chances on old or new content. But that being said, not all hope is lost, and Cartoon Network isn't completely ignorant to new ideas.
Sorry, that was getting a little too real.
Yeah, no, good call.
In the midst of the Teen Titans Go marathon in August was the premiere of a new show called OKKO, Let's Be Heroes. This was a refreshing cartoon. It's fun, it's different, and it looks great. And from what I can tell, it's been doing well on the network.
Rad! You're all free to go!
Whoopsie whoopsie.
That's it!
Also, Cartoon Network has been adding a little more variety to their schedule. We've seen the return of the original Teen Titans, and they even brought back Regular Show, though it was for a Halloween special. Adventure Time got a little love too, but it remains to be seen how long that will last for. What perplexes me the most about all of this though, is how different the schedules are for Cartoon Network America versus the schedules for Cartoon Network in other countries. Those typically have a lot more variety for both old and new shows. Perhaps their audiences still enjoy watching television, while American audiences don't. So Cartoon Network has provided a little more variety to their schedule, and haven't completely given up on providing new shows, but there's room for improvement. First off, they need to take another look at how they provide content on their phone app and website. It's not like Netflix or Hulu, where you can scan through a series and pick an episode to watch in its entirety. More often than not, it's just a clip of an episode. And if you want to watch the full episode, you have to unlock it? Something to do with reaching out to a TV provider and entering your information and who cares? Just watch it online.
This is cyberspace, Darwin. Better switch to incognito mode so the cyber police can't trace us.
That's the problem. The phone app and the website don't offer that much, and it's not super easy to navigate. What I perceive as full episodes are just clips, and that's annoying to me. If Cartoon Network could just make it to where a person could pay $3 or $5 a month to watch all of what Cartoon Network has to offer, then that could work. Or maybe just put ads in the episode, like they do on YouTube or Hulu. But for whatever reason, that's not really happening, and I'm not exactly sure why. I know that the world of television providers is political, and it's all about bundle this and bundle that, but that's not going to translate over to the internet. Yet, the stubborn dinosaurs of the TV industry refuse to admit or even acknowledge that. They want to keep their shows on television, but it's a doomed industry. This is why Netflix is destroying them. And the longer they wait to adapt, the worse it's going to be for them in the future. More competition, lowering their prices, and losing potential buyers who already have their fill of online streaming services. Television has built itself up as this invincible medium of entertainment. But times are changing. Their establishment will collapse, and now is the time to make a switch. For Cartoon Network to provide a service where people can access their content online easily. If not, then they might fade away entirely when the television industry ultimately ends. In conclusion, Cartoon Network has some difficult choices ahead of them. I won't try and pretend that I know everything that is going on at the network. I am sure that there are things that go way over my head, and I might have a different opinion about this situation a few months from now. But I do know that they aren't doing as well as they used to. Yes, they are adding more variety to their schedule, but as I have said before, television providers in general are sinking, and they refuse to jump onto a different ship. The network itself isn't lacking when it comes to ideas for potential shows. I have seen some pretty great pilots. If anything, they could try and work with these people to bolster their online content. Then again, making a cartoon show isn't super cheap, so I might be missing part of the picture here. I just hope that they can deploy some solutions soon. Like it or not, Cartoon Network is the studio and company that makes these shows. If they can't successfully move these cartoons to the internet for audiences to watch, then these shows might end altogether. I sincerely hope that won't be the case. Cartoon Network has always been and continues to be a great place for creative talents. There's no shortage of ideas, but the problem is that they don't typically make it onto television. And those that do, such as Mighty Magiswords, might not even last for that long. With any luck though, Cartoon Network will make the positive changes they need so they can continue to provide cartoons for many years to come.